I wasn't going to shut you guys down. I wanted to let you enjoy all of that drop in the song before we get back. These two teams have proven to be the strongest of all 8 teams coming into the tournament. And I got to give credit to Risen Esports. Things have looked a little bit rough. They are the underdogs coming in, but they have proven again and again to not discount them. Margarine, Skateboard Dog, masters in their own right. Before we get too far with them, I gotta give it out to Team Bar. Experiment 626 in the top lane. Mike Ox Malbros in the jungle. Calm in the mid lane. Justify as the AD carry, and applause their support. Looking so good. They're the tournament favorites. They made it here. Who's surprised? I'm not. I'm hyped to see it. Why don't you run through Risen Esports?
And for Risen Esports, we've got TJ in the top lane, Skateboard Dog in the jungle, Margarine in the mid lane, Itchy Rat in the bottom lane ADC role, and Hernandez rounding it out in the supportive role in the bot lane. All super powerful players on both sides doing an excellent job. Really just across the board, very impressed with the play, especially Risen Esports came in not expecting a lot out of these underdogs, and they've really just taken it to everybody, even with the tournament favorite, or one of the tournament favorites in the excuse me, in the team with Reeves and all of the experienced players from the stream, just completely steamrolling over Dumbledore's army there. And Risen Esports versus Bar in the finals. This is definitely going to be one for the ages.
Oh, yes. I'm absolutely psyched. I just can't believe it. Last game, Risen Esports took me by surprise with their aggression, and Skateboard Dog looked good on the Gragas the first time that he played it. He looked even better second time coming through.
I think I tilted Itchy Rat.
Wouldn't be surprised if wouldn't be surprised if the Gragas, there it is, banned away from Skateboard Dog. All that means, though, is that Skateboard Dog can bring something else to the table. Does he have another champion in his pocket that he can pull out and be just as strong with? Because we've only seen him play Gragas. Sky is the limit on what this guy can do. I rarely get banned away from Margarine as well, so we get the opportunity to see something fun come out in the mid lane against Lucian. No shocker grab. Another thing to keep in mind is we could see Bar once again going with the Lucian Nami in the bottom lane. They have second pick opportunity here to grab that Nami, as well as they could wait on it because they know that Applause is good on it. They instead go for the Braum. Interesting choice.
Yeah, Braum definitely been a priority pick in this. Oh, and here comes the Scion. Again, TJ, instead of going for the Scion as he has in the past, or the Urgot, which has been a very Urgot banned away by his own side, rather than taking the Urgot, rather than taking the Scion, allows that to go over to the other side and wants to play the Aatrox this time. Aatrox, Olaf, Ahri picked up. Margarine has really shown out in this tournament so far, and Ahri is one of the premier picks in that mid lane. Very strong. And we're going to be seeing what now that bans have been finished out, we'll see what ends up getting picked up.
I'm trying to go through the stats that I've got right now on these teams and see no Ahri has been played yet during those seeding games that were played. So a couple of different other options. They did lose the one game that they grabbed the Aatrox, but what I'm seeing as a whole from the team, Aatrox, Olaf, even the Ahri, are all highly engaged-based champions. You're talking about massive aggression, diving forward, dealing insane amounts of damage in close quarters. What I'm concerned with is they don't have much range. Ahri, a mid-range AP champion, she does have that ultimate that can kind of close and bounce back and forth a little bit. Ezreal gonna pull up the rear a little bit when it comes to having something that if they get into a little bit of a poke war where they're jostling for the correct position to set up for an Olaf engage or set up for a Thresh hook, Ezreal's a decent champion that kind of allows them to have a bit more time poking a little bit as they're trying to vie for a position around whatever objective they're fighting for.
There's no vie in this game. What are you talking about?
What did I say? Did I say vie?
Yeah, you said vie for position. Okay.
Oh, I meant Ezreal. Oh, ha! Wow! Wow! Okay, Wraith.
I have the jokes.
Time to mute you. Time to mute Wraith. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Yeah, but we have seen Itchy Rat's Ezreal, and good lord, was it OP. Basically single-handedly carried a game where they were super far behind. So we'll see if he and Hernandez can get a really good advantage down for themselves versus Braum Lucian, which is one of the strongest bot lanes, just traditionally in general. Because Lucian's double taps can really, or Light Slinger, I've always called it double taps, but Lucian's Light Slinger can almost insta-proc Braum's concussive blows for a stun. Ezreal, very safe laner against Lucian, so Lucian wants to go all in and just really hurt you, and Ezreal's not about that life. He's about throwing Qs.
I'm going to stand way back, poke, poke, poke. The other thing that was noted by Nova in the chat is that there's a pretty hefty amount of Protect the AED comp coming out from Bar when you've got that Zilean ultimate and Kindred ult that can both kind of keep Lucian alive if he gets dropped low. My concern is, besides the Braum and Sion, they're a very squishy composition. Zilean and Kindred, both champions that can get popped super, super quickly, and they are going to need to rely on those ultimates. Otherwise, Olaf could just walk right past the Braum and Sion and go wrecking through the back line.
Definitely a good point. The thing about Olaf is that there's really no way to stop him if he gets into your back line. You just kind of, oh, well, there goes my AD carry and my AP carry.
Which is why the Zilean and Kindred are decent picks into that Olaf. Those ultimates can kind of reset until that Ragnarok fades, and then he's in a dangerous position. He's going to be forced to either flash out or basically fight until he dies on that backside. And Kindred ultimate can basically say, fight all you want, you're going to go down, and we are going to survive just fine. However, one of the things that he can do, even if he does do that, is kind of reset the attention of that team, which allows Ahri to then slip in as well. You've got two heavy backline assassin champions, or Thresh, kind of diving in and trying to pull one of those champions like the Lucian or Zilean out for Ezreal to more easily kill. If you had to pick a team for game one, who would you say wins it?
It all depends on how long the game goes. I mean, Kindred in the jungle is just... Oh, wait, I just took a look at this composition. Good lord. Okay, the 5v5, I'm gonna have to give it to... I mean, look at this composition. Kindred, Zilean, the immortality there is just ridiculous. You've got the second revive Sion and the Kindred Zilean to keep people alive. I think the laning phase, with the exception of bot lane, Lucian Braum is pretty strong. I think Olaf could invade Kindred and be able to beat Zilean, and Sion can kind of survive in the top lane. I don't think Aatrox should really be able to get a solo kill there, unless Sion. But shoot, late game, if it gets into team fights, I have to give it to Bar.
Bar looking really strong. I agree. They've got a lot of opportunities. The main thing that I want to see, though, from Risen Esports is that early game aggression from the Olaf, especially. We've seen him the last two games do really well. Don't let us down. Set up your team. Start that snowball. Ahri, one of those champions that can snowball pretty heavily if given that opportunity. Olaf, not necessarily the best when it comes to CC, but you have the Ahri Charm that can do the CC work for you. And that could be the key to shutting down the Zilean in the mid lane before level 6. He's going to be a pretty squishy champion. He's not going to have a lot of opportunity to get out if things go poorly. He did take that cleanse, so he does have at least one safety net. But if a charm, after that cleanse gets blown, a charm into Undertows from the Olaf could spell his demise if that's where the Olaf decides to focus his gank pressure.
Yeah, definitely. Now, let's see if there are going to be any funny moves in this early game. Now, it looks like mostly defensive starts. TJ up toward that top side, whereas Ahri's hovering around the top of mid. Not going to be anything, any shenanigans this time. Let's see.
Oh, check this out. Infernal Drake to start the game off when that first Drake spawns. Keep in mind, the pressure and damage, or just the overall percentage of effect that the first Drake has been increased. So this Infernal Drake is going to be on everybody's mind. And what a better way to start the first of the best of 3 finals than an Infernal Drake.
Definitely. I agree. We've had good luck with Drakes in most of this. They've almost all been high priority advantage Drakes.
No triple win Drake.
Yeah. Red buff start, but you end up with Wraiths. Raptors start. You can tell how long I've been playing. Raptors start for the Olaf going up to red buff initially and might come wrap around in the mid lane. I don't know. Definitely going for a low health quick clear here.
Interesting choice. We'll have to keep an eye on that. One of the things that Applause on this support is so good at is keeping track of the enemy team's jungler. So seeing that Thresh and Ezreal take priority in that bottom lane, show up super early, the likelihood that they know that Olaf is on that red side is pretty high, as Calm in that mid lane trying to get a little bit of damage down to Margarine, and auto attack, but the bomb gonna land on a minion, so the trade comes out fairly even. Margarine gonna heal up with the passive.
Yeah, a little bit Zilean favored, but as you said, the passive for the Ahri. Even trades go to the person, our advantage to the person with more sustain, and Ahri certainly out-sustains the Zilean. As you can see, more health now on the Ahri than the Zilean. Really, the question is who ends up getting more CS, and at the moment, the Zilean has the advantage here.
All right, we'll see how the rest of the game progresses as we crest into the 3-minute mark, and nothing too crazy so far, as we may start to get some action here. Calm stepping forward, skateboard dog gonna go straight in onto Calm. They get the kill. First blood goes to the Ahri, but they're only trading it back over to the Olaf, as Experiment 626 gonna have to run away on that top side. Mike, though, with double buffs, gonna burn Margarine down slowly, hops forward. The charm not gonna land. I think he actually flashed the charm, takes a turret shot, but it's a double kill for the Kindred.
Yeah, that's dangerous because Kindred is one of the late game monsters that can come out of that jungle. Very scary, and the thing about him is that he is the jungler. He's not sitting in the bottom lane waiting to get ganked. He's going to have basically unrestricted access to gold, and he can scale up into that late game. 2 other kills, giving him an advantage as he moves toward that late game monster he will eventually become. In the mid lane now, we just got kind of a battle of wave clear at the moment. Zilean just double bombing the wave. Sion returning to base. 13 CS to 20. He probably should be down in this lane. It's an aggressive early game top laner versus the more defensive top laner of the Sion. Itchy Rat currently laning up against the Lucian, going to be down almost 10 CS once he picks up this wave. Yeah, still going to be down a substantial amount of CS for this phase. Yeah,
I was just going to agree and say in the mid lane, Ahri going down to that Kindred was also as a wave crashed into her turret, so she's down about a wave in CS as well. I really want to check very quickly on Kindred and see where Kindred's stacks are. She's got 2 at the moment. Keep in mind, 4 stacks is the goal for this Kindred to really start to come online, and already halfway there as the Infernal Drake spawns. Neither team running for it immediately.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting immediate priority, as it does a decent amount of damage at this point in the game. When they buffed the first Drake percentages, they also buffed the first Drake damages, so you can't really solo them very easily as just anybody.
Oh, Calm gonna miss the double bomb, but he still gets one. That's gonna do a little bit of damage onto Margarine. In that top lane, Aatrox has taken a bit of that CS lead. When Sion backed, I don't think he's actually backed yet. He was that Ruby Crystal start, so he's really just looking to go for the farm, the slow farm. No, he had to have backed at least once.
He
just
did
got
back.
Ruby Crystal. I was like, so confused for a second.
Yeah. Meanwhile, advantage top lane for the Aatrox, as one would expect. I'm looking to see some movement from this Olaf. He doesn't really have any good gankable lanes. However, this Zillion definitely taking a good bit of harass in toward that mid lane. Ahri should have the advantage here, but he is up in CS, so as long as he can keep clearing these waves, he can keep Ahri off of him just by forcing her to use her spells to CS under turret.
Something to note from last game that we talked about, you want to get Ezreal to burn as much mana as possible, but have to stay in lane. And here Itchy Rat is in that similar situation. Low mana, so he's going to have to just farm with those auto attacks, and hasn't been able to recall and get his tier yet. And we're pushing that 7-minute mark, so that's a lot of stacks that he would have loved to have been able to pick up that he's just going to have to deal without.
Yep, that's definitely true. Definitely a lot of pressure coming through from this Lucian Braum lane. Very strong lane. Hold on. Okay, I was still wondering if we were going to see an all-in under turret. It is level 6 for the Aatrox, so turret dives aren't a big deal to him.
All right, 2 kills to 1 at the moment in this finals best of 3 game 1. 1,000 gold lead for Bar. They are that tournament favorite, so no real shocker. But a lot of the success from the side of Risen Esports has been off of Skateboard Dog. He didn't get his Gragas this time around, so we're really leaning in on him to see what he can do as he hits that level 6. Where will he take that potential engage? As in that top lane, TJ slowly winning out against Experimentissu 6. Might go in for the kill. He's got the ultimate. World Ender comes through. Sion uses the ult just to slow the Aatrox down. He gets the last auto, can walk out with the World Ender, but Sion's coming in, punching at this Aatrox's back. Can he dodge? He gets away just enough movement speed, walks his way out, and Aatrox solos in the top lane.
And Ezreal ult. Just kidding, he's on the same team.
One of those moments that, things get a little bit fun as Kindred, looking to maybe make a play in the mid lane, gets dissuaded by that control ward. Gonna catch sight of that Kindred, who heads back into the jungle while things are a little bit calmer. Again, I'm gonna check on this Kindred, see how many marks she's been able to pick up so far. Still at 2. So things going a little bit slow for the Kindred in the last couple minutes of the game, as Margarine going to be the target, has been burned down by those bombs, trying to get the last of the ultimate to escape. Flashes as well. Kindred unable to get the kill, but Ahri is out of the fight. However, that is the disengagement from the side of Risen Esports. Ahri able to make the escape.
Ult and flash is blown in that engage. Ahri's ult and flash taken away. As I thought Ragnarok got burned, but apparently it did not. I was mistaken. Meanwhile, small 1v1 in the top lane. This could actually end up in TJ, blowing the flash from Experiment there. A little bit ambitious to go for that control ward up there. Definitely dangerous. And he does pay for it with his summoner spell, opening himself up to a gank. Gonna have to call the jungler up to assist. TJ getting baited in, gonna have to blow his own flash. He might not get out. He does not have ultimate here. There is the Kindred ultimate. They can go under the tower if they want to. Does Sion have ult? I do not believe he does. No.
No, he does not. So they decide not to chase it in, instead focusing on taking these plates off of that turret with Mike Ox here. They're going to be able to get a couple of those. Aatrox able to make it out. So this is pretty good from the side of Bar. You're seeing their focus on the objectives, not necessarily trying to chase in kills, go for any crazy dives. They're looking to just stack gold, which they've been able to get 1,000 gold lead and keep that so far this game.
Certainly. They're very far ahead. The hook not going to hit. from the Thresh, but he probably doesn't even want that. Mlac managing to hit the double bomb after dodging out on the Charm. That's a lot of damage coming through. Kindred coming in on the mid lane, but you've got the Olaf on the bot side, so gank and counter gank. But with the 2 immortalities, I don't think that they win out on that one.
So interesting from this Olaf, in comparison to the last couple of games that we saw. He's been focusing mostly this game in stealing away enemy camps and just being kind of a background nuisance, stacking up gold. You can see pushing that 70 CS to Kindred's 54. That's pretty good. I'm also curious to see whether or not he's been taking away Kindred's stacks. I think I can actually check that right now. Yeah, 3 hunts. So he's probably been focusing, clearing away those Kindred hunts and keeping her below that 4 threshold that she really wants to have. So I would love to check back in on that. We do have a pause, though I believe that as it just came through from Experience 626 was because Bar was having some communication issues with hyper amounts of lag on their Discord, and so they have moved Discords now. He says that things are good to go, so they probably are in game, which means we got about a minute to wait before we're able to get back into the game ourselves. And as it is at the moment, 2 kills to 2, 1,000 gold lead for Bar, things fairly even. What do you think about the game state?
I think that Bar is playing their game very well. Like you said, not overextending, not putting themselves in a place where they could get turned around on. But no, they are in a very strong position, slowly move forward, kind of like this. Just it's a tide easing its way in, and eventually it's just going to overwhelm and drown their opponents. Yeah.
All right. We'll see if they can manage to do that in the bottom lane. 99 CS on the Lucian to 83 of that Ezreal. Fairly even. The Lucian does have a slight edge. The main key is when is this Ezreal going to hit a power spike? He's got that tier, so he's been building some stacks on it. We'll see, however, when he completes that first item, if they're able to do anything with it. And I really want to see some action out of this Thresh. He's played fairly passive so far this game. Liz, actually, she has played fairly passive so far this game. Not interested in going too aggressive, but you want to see some good plays and hooks out of a Thresh as, whoa, Experiment 626 going to be exploded on that top side. Does the Aatrox burn a flash trying to get in? He doesn't have it, so he lets the Scion get away with his life, but that's more pressure and more farm to the Aatrox, who's already winning top lane. Calm in that mid lane, looking to try to throw out some bombs just to clear the wave. He's not interested in fighting this Ahri. He's just interested in trying to keep his CS up, which he does have a CS lead over this Ahri, so he may be looking to try to complete a couple of items before going in for a fight. As Experiment 626 sticks around on this top side, doesn't have teleport, so he's actually going to be hanging around, knowing that the Aatrox doesn't have World Ender, so he should be fairly safe. But Olaf is coming in from the backside. Experiment 626 tries to go with the recall, but I don't think it's going to be in time. Skateboard Dog comes in, hasn't even burned the Ragnarok. He's going to take down the Scion and then walk his way back to join the Aatrox, as the Aatrox is beating up this top lane turret. Going to give solo gold, though, as Bar responds by taking the Infernal Drake. I think Wraith is disconnected completely. I'm not sure. I'm actually going to try to restart Discord once more, if it's on my end or not, as Wraith may... I don't know whose fault it is. Discord obviously doesn't like the tournament that we're running right now, so I'm going to try to call him back and see if we can reconnect. Yeah, Wraith has been silenced, but it will not be for long. He's just on cooldown. The hype is getting a bit too real. 2 kills to 3. Things are looking pretty hype at the moment. The Infernal Drake picked up by Bar. Going to give them a bit of a gold advantage. We'll see how long they can keep it, though, because the side of Risen Esports has slowly but surely caught back up. The question is, when are they going to actually overtake the side of Bar if they are able to do so? Ichirat in that bottom lane still staying around. Lucian looks like he's going to be the first one to recall that Ezreal, sitting on 1,900 gold to Lucian's 2,300 gold. So we'll see what they buy after they come back from the base. Calm clearing that ward. When it comes to overall pressure, I like that Olaf has finally started to make some plays. He also picked up the Rift Herald earlier in the game. Needs to use it. Probably could drop it in that top lane. See if he could secure first turret up there, as there's only 2 stacks of plates. Olaf decides to stick around. He's pinged out, though, by the side of Bar, so they know that he's there, and he's going to go ahead and complete the recall and go back to the base, grab a little bit more mana. The Ahri and the Zilean continuing to run circles around each other in that mid lane. No more kills out just yet, but Zilean has picked up a nice bit of CS advantage for himself. 20 farm over that Ahri. Turret plate has fallen, which means that Olaf has a pretty good opportunity to use that Rift Herald and pick up first turret. Want to check in on that top lane turret's health, sitting about 1/3 health, as the bottom lane down under half. That Thresh and Ezreal are going to have to speed their way back in. Wraith is back. We'll see if he's able to get that call or that webcam going. If not, no worries. Just glad to have you back, Wraith. The skateboard dog comes in for the game. Looking for the engage, the teleport in from the side. We'll see if that's enough. The Thresh hook going to miss. Applause with a nice Unbreakable. Going to hold things in place for a moment as Sion charges in. Gets the knock-up on Experiment. There's not a knock-up. The knock-up onto the Thresh. Drops the Thresh. The rest of the team going to want to take out this turret. Calm is here. Double bombs. Not going to stun anybody up. They grab the first turret of the game. TJ in trouble in the top lane. Kindred dropping the ultimate. Will it be enough? Will the change to the CC be enough? The turret shot comes through. TJ takes a kill on that top side. After Bar picks up the bottom lane first turret, they decide not to go forward anymore. Instead, take their 1 kill and turret gold and walk away, keeping themselves in that 1,000 gold lead.
Alright, hold on. Getting everything
Wraith
set.
is still getting things set back up once more. I'd be really interested in seeing whether or not this audio issue is still there, guys. If you can check the audio issue, let me know if it is still the case or not.
Yeah, you're still breaking up with me.
Okay, that might though be Discord, as Ahri going to get double bombed to the mid lane. Margarine going to get dropped extremely low. Call needs to throw one more bomb to be able to do it. He lands it, so Ahri is going to drop the shield from Thresh. Might keep her alive. No, he can't. And the hook is going to miss as well. Death sentence just a little misplaced. Olaf off to the side, but I don't think he wants to engage, as there is a Braum waiting to join the team. Ezreal ultimate comes through. It doesn't hit. Calm. He's able to sidestep, and Olaf Ragnarok's to safety as he's getting out. Hook only going to land onto a minion. Itchy Rat joining the fight in the mid lane. We'll see if the re-engage from Risen Esports is going to be any better than the last couple of fights. The double bomb from Zilean, so good. Disengages the fight, and that is the end of this mid lane skirmish.
What the heck? Okay, that's interesting.
If you play Zilean, you chew on building blocks. You just slowly beat up those turrets. Wraith's camera is back. Welcome back. Are you still watching the game, or I didn't know what happened when your camera died?
The computer crashed.
Oh, okay. So you're getting back into the game as we speak?
I'm back in now.
Okay, awesome. Good to have you. Just to double check real quick on the time, 1641, 1642, 1643, 1644, 1645. How are we looking?
I'm almost caught up.
Okay, cool.
Never mind.
So 4 kills to 4. Both teams still fairly even, but with a really good disengage in that mid lane, as well as perfect Zilean bombs. Bar comes out with a 2,000 gold lead. The Rift Herald spawned in the base. Shelly going to have a bit of a vacation walking down the bottom hand lane. Olaf more than likely dropping it just to make sure that it actually got spawned before it despawned in his own inventory. As the Mountain Drake spawns, Bar in a good position to try to take that. Double control wards are going to be cleared by Bar. Maybe miscommunication, maybe just trying to set up a Thresh hook onto the Braum. He's tanky though, so he's going to be able to take that just fine.
Yep. And currently, hold on. Yeah, I think I'm about caught up.
TJ chasing down the Lucian in the bottom lane. Justify going to be hit up. He's able to relentlessly pursue out of the chains. Drop the calling. Going to take the Aatrox down to about half health. His World Ender started so early. Shelly going to be cleared up before she could even get to the turret. Bar is just getting their cake and eating it too. Maybe a little less icing than they'd like, but they're feeling pretty confident at the moment as they are prepping for this Mountain Drake, continuing to bait out Risen Esports. They decide that it's finally time to go ahead and clear it. They're going to be able to get that, and 2 Drakes, 2 Bar sets them a pretty far amount ahead.
Yeah, and I want to take a look real quick at this Kindred sitting on 4 stacks. Mark of the Kindred. She's online right now. Those 4 stacks really give her the early game advantage. Everything is kind of gravy from here. If she can get to the 7 stack mark, she's really in a good position.
Thresh hook only going to land on a minion, but the Olaf has come in. He hasn't popped the Ragnarok just yet. Olaf is going to be burned down, but the Zillion ultimate going to allow him to resurrect. Aatrox says, I've got a resurrection of my own, but his ultimate is on cooldown, so Ari is going to over-engage and be dropped. Hernandez needs to play safe as the Thresh's health is really low. This Zillion's bombs are just chunking people's health down every time they get dropped.
Yes. Seriously, every time they hit, they just do this surprising amount of damage. This Luden's Echo is kind of like a static shiv, but for mages. It hits so hard when it's charged on these Zillion bombs, and it's just, it chunked Itchy Rat almost to half with just 1. So I could definitely see with a few more items, him causing some serious problems if he landed multiple one-shots, forcing the flash out of the Thresh right there. TJ just going to shove in this wave real quick and probably roam somewhere else. Pushing up too much further is probably going to get him in trouble. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, red turret has been destroyed. Mid lane outer taken down by Bar. Seeing an opportunity, I saw an opportunity and I seized it. Moving into that mid lane, getting an advantage for himself.
Oh, come on! Arcane shift from Ezreal gets him out of harm's way from those Zillion bombs. Really good movement there with that champion as Kindred is trying to move forward and get some vision for Bar on this bottom side. One of the things we talked about last time we saw this team play is their vision. You can check on it with that V and see that they have completely covered this bottom with vision as the Kindred goes in, stealing away the enemy team's blue buff, giving it over to Lucian, making sure that Olaf doesn't have it. Neither does that Ari as she steps forward and takes a Winter's Bite from Braum. So with all exterior turrets down, Bar decides to instead focus on around the Baron, try to secure vision, and maybe play around for a team fight.
Yeah, if they go for the Baron, it's 20 minutes even. I don't think that it would be necessarily the best idea. They're in a decent position. Hold on, TJ just committed suicide.
Okay, alright. He hit the blast cone and then he hops over. He can't even get the World Enders out before going down. Dark Passage also not going to come through in time. Justify low, though calling has been burned. Skateboard Dog may decide that this is his time to engage, but he's going to Ragnarok the opposite direction as Ari tries to flash and assassinate the Lucian from the backline. Itchy Rat forced to flash. Is the heal going to be enough to keep him alive? It will, as Kindred over-engages underneath the turret. Calm now charmed up, will be dropped. Applause, this is extremely low. Skateboard flashes onto Justify. They're trying to get him to go down, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Olaf will still be, shielded by the Thresh. Flayed backwards as well. The Thresh drops the ultimate. It's going to slow Sion. He can't go in. He's been charmed up by the Ari. Justify trying to finish off somebody, but the Thresh is too tanky, and Bar has to call off the fight. They step forward a little bit too much. They lose the Kindred before her ultimate gets popped. Risen Esports wins the fight.
Yeah, 2 for 2 right there in the long term. Aatrox going out at the beginning of the fight, and then Itchy Rat being taken down in the interim. But traded over for the jungler and the mid laner from Bar. So all in all, a very even fight, which it should not have been, considering how far ahead Bar is right now. But overreaching when your Kindred dashes forward past 2 members to try and finish off the Ezreal fails, and then your mid laner blows flash to get the kill but can't get his own revive out. There were 2 ultimates not used that were major, like, game-changing ultimates. The Kindred ult and the Zillion ult both not used right there.
Oh, Aatrox gonna get caught out, engaged a little bit too long in the bottom lane, played around. Can he hop over the wall with that ultimate? He's waiting for the dash to come through. Hits the blast cone as well, but Lucian jumps over the wall with one star. Will flash in, gets the kill. The chase is good. He's burned a lot to be able to take down the Aatrox, but it's gonna be worth it. The Ragnarok actually stops Olaf from using the blast cone. He gets out with just a touch of life as Hernandez is able to escape from the Scion ulti down the river. Infernal, second Infernal to Bar. Ezreal ultimate a little bit too early and still sets Bar a bar ahead.
Ha, ha, ha. You're hilarious.
I have jokes too.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're exactly as good as mine.
Margarine grouping with the rest of the team in the mid lane. Gonna find the charm onto Applause. This Braum is tanky though, able to absorb a lot of it and then just jump out to safety. However, it keeps a Bar from once again resetting the vision around the Baron. Risen Esports is gonna take a little bit of pressure advantage towards the mid lane.
Yep, and let's see, currently you've got mid lane priority from Risen Esports, but that's going to be short-lived once the members of Bar return from their backs there. They're going to get a little chip damage down, but they've got to get out of dodge here because Scion's ultimate should be up in the next few seconds, and once that happens, they have the go button.
And again, we talked about early game, or before the game started, the late game from the side of Bar, the Zillion, the Kindred, even the Scion is going to be extremely strong. And their 5v5 potential when it comes to the Scion and Kindred ultimates is so good at resetting the map as Aatrox, TJ, going to be caught out once again. We'll see if he goes down once more. World Ender defensively. This is so unfortunate for the side of Risen Esports, as that's twice now that those ultimates on the Olaf and Aatrox have been used defensively. It's not what you want on those champions.
Yeah. Crucially, they did miss out on a ward behind.
Scion ultimate coming through, but he hits a minion and decides to end it there. Okay, all right.
Minions don't trigger that.
No, I know. That's what I said. He decides to end it at the minions instead. Threshold going to start things off. Experiment 626. Super tanky. We'll see how long he can absorb the pressure. Actually flashes away from TJ hopping in. Dark Passage going to pull the Aatrox to safety as the rest of the team from Bar decide to call off the engage and instead may look to Baron.
2 bombs almost take the Aatrox all the way down. They could bait Baron here, or they can straight force it. Now, Olaf is around to the side, and I believe he still has Ragnarok up, so there's nothing they can do to deny him access to the pit. However, he's doing Raptors right now, and is going to completely miss out. That's just...
This is a lack of vision from the side of Bar, especially when they had that blue ward in the brush. They should have been able to know that Bar was not backing, and there was an opportunity that they were taking to grab the Baron with no vision from Risen Esports on that Baron. Olaf, just kind of asleep at the wheel, lets them be able to grab it. And that's one way to deny him Baron, is just to grab it before he even shows up.
Yeah, seriously. I was expecting you to get the heroic Olaf charge into the pit and then die. But instead, he just gets Raptors and doesn't give over his life. Perhaps.
And this is not good for Risen Esports. Continuing to delay the game is going to give Bar a better opportunity as the game progresses. Kindred's going to be getting more stacks. The Scion is just going to get more tanky. Zillion going to find more opportunities to land these double bombs. So really, Risen Esports needs to find the time to call the trigger, to say this is when we have to go. Otherwise, it's just going to get too late for them.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's getting past the point where TJ can 1v1 experiment.
Oh, and Braum and Kindred to the back line. This should be at least 2 members from Esports dropping. Aatrox is already gone. Didn't even use the World Ender, knowing that he was going to be finished. The Olaf was able to get out with that Ragnarok defensively once again, but he's got to go back to the fountain to heal up, and this means the bottom lane second-tier turret should be dropped. Applause with a nice Unbreakable. Drops the Ezreal ultimate, so there's no minions to be cleared. They've got the Baron as well on these minions, shoving in now into an inhibitor turret, keeping the pressure up, dodging away from the hook from the Thresh. Margarine just trying to clear those waves, but has no damage to speak of. Inhibitor turret's going to fall. The inhibitor next up on the menu. Applause doing a great job just tanking everything that Risen Esports throws at them. The inhibitor goes down. Bar gets out just with everything they could want.
Yeah, they just walked down bottom lane, took everything, including the inhibitor. They're going to walk out, grab some of the jungle camps, recall, and do it again in another lane. That's a textbook Baron push right there. But they got to be careful. They might get caught out here. Yeah, no, they're safe. They leave the Gromp up, and they just back. They're probably going to spend their gold and then go either mid or top lane and just continue doing this sort of thing over and over again until the Baron buff wears out. But really, they only need to take one more inhib, and they can just brute force their way into the Nexus.
8,000 gold up, 1 ace away from victory. Keep in mind, this is a best of 3, so they're going to have to do this at least one more time to secure themselves the champions of the XLNC Winter Invitational Tournament. As TJ trying to set up in position around all 5 members of Bar who are collected by this Ocean Drake. It's the 4th Drake of the game. They're going to go ahead and start it up. Not fearful at all. Applause able to hop away out of the chains from the Aatrox as well. They get the Ocean Drake and now can move into the enemy team top lane or mid lane territory as that bottom lane is going to freely push. Their rotations have been so good so far this game.
Yep, and Applause, he's low, but he has an Ocean Drake. So he should be fine. He will heal up rather quickly. It looks like a Kindred's rotating up, gonna try and take away a stack for herself. That's a big deal to find one in the enemy jungle right now. And that's going,
yeah.
Is that her, if that was her 7th stack, that would be a big deal. No, wait.
Oh, look at this collection from Bar, caught out by the Q from Olaf, the Undertow coming through. The zillion bombs take down the Ahri. Olaf tries to get to the Dark Passage from Thresh. It's not going to be enough. Aatrox is here, though, in the middle of 4 members, getting a little bit of damage down, but he doesn't do anything. The World Ender will be popped, so his resurrection will come up. He flashes away from the double bombs to the Zillion, so he lives for now. But all 5 members of Bar are still alive. They can rotate to the top side, and as we said, with that Ocean Drake, they're just going to heal right back up.
Yeah, this is one of those things. You win a fight, and then you have Ocean Drake, and it heals you all the way back to full. Granted, they don't have double stacks of it, but look, Applause was almost like 1 hit from dead, and he's got a third of it, almost a third of his HP back just from Ocean Drake. Very strong Drake to have in a sustained push.
All right, TJ pulled the safety by the Dark Passage from that Thresh, but 2 inhibitors now dropped. Bar, a just really good game and showing, and you got to give credit to Calm in that mid lane with the Zillion. His bombs were so good at setting up plays for the rest of the team. And Sion, after losing initially the early game to this Aatrox, just eventually became too much for the Aatrox to handle. Love the Warbogs pick every time Aatrox, who has a bit of a hard time pushing to finish a kill. Like, he's usually, unless you go full damage route, he's usually one that kind of sets up with somebody else to take kills, and Sion just either ults or flashes, waits for the Warmogs to heal back up, and can sustain in lane, keeping Aatrox from just becoming a split-pushing nightmare.
Yeah, and Aatrox being so far behind, the thing about split-pushing is you have to be able to win the 1v1. It's kind of, you've got 2 big minions in the bottom lane, and the minion that wins gets to take towers. That's the way split pushing goes. It doesn't take a lot of brain cells. It's just a 1v1. So Aatrox can't win that 1v1, can't push around the Sion, who's now so tanky that he doesn't care about the Aatrox damage. And also, Kindred does so much damage now. It's going to be really hard to contest anything that he wants to do without just getting obliterated.
Baron number 2 on the map. Aatrox forced to split on the bottom side with no teleport available, and the Baron just gets burned down before anyone from Risen Esports can respond. Sion set up with a bomb on his head, running towards those minions in the mid lane to wave clear them with that Baron. The middle inhibitor is the only objective standing left alive for Bar to take besides the Nexus turrets themselves, and they should be able to secure that without too much delay. Double inhibitor turrets. There's the Sion ultimate charging in. Gonna miss out on Ezreal, who just arcane shifts to safety. But this is the last fight that Risen Esports has. This is going to be the fight before the end of the game. Justify taking out Aatrox on the backside after he was unable to get out of harm's way. Margarine gonna be burned down. Justify just has insane amounts of damage. Itchy Rat trying to do what he can, but he doesn't have any damage left to speak of. Applause goes in. Unbreakable, avoiding everything the enemy team tries to throw out. Pentakill for the Lucian, who just wipes through the enemy team. Justify gets called out in chat, and he says, "You want to see me destroy an enemy team? I'll show you a destroyed enemy team. I'll get a pentakill to finish the game off."
Woo! Justify with some fancy moves over the wall, dashing and getting all of the damage down. Lucian in the heart of his power spike cleans house. Woof.
So good from the side of Bar. You talked about how as long as they survive the early game and keep Risen Esports from really snowballing, they were able to not only do that, but then find victory. Look at Applause. 0 deaths and 14 assists. Justify 0 deaths again. This bottom lane, every game we've seen them play, untouched.
Yeah, he has been so powerful, or they have been so powerful in that bot lane. They just, like you said, I've been saying this for a long time, that I judge a bot laner, or both bot laners, not by how many kills that they get. Getting kills isn't that impressive to me. Staying alive while still dealing damage, that's impressive to me. And 0 deaths for both of them, not just once. 14 assists for Applause is insane, with all the work that he got done in that bottom lane and in the mid and top lane fights. And then Justify with a pentakill, 7-0. But Mlac really coming through right there. That mid lane should have been Ari favored, but Margarine losing out on a couple of 1v1s and then getting ganked, and then it was just all Zillion all the time from there. And that double kill for Mike Ox Malbros, just it set him off. He early flash, picking up a second kill, flashing over that charm that would have charmed him up in tower range. Big shout out to him. Well played and well done from all fronts.
Indeed. All right, that was only game 1 of the best of 3 finals. We're going to be right back. However, as I go to the very quick musical break, I want to let you guys know the stream is going to disappear for, again, half a second. I'm going to try one more thing that I cross my fingers hope will be enough to fix this audio lag issue, because I don't want that as we get further into these finals. So guys, bear with me. Don't go anywhere. The stream will be right back. One more thing I can do to fix it. If not, we'll just have to deal with it and come back to it another day. But I will do anything to stop this. Don't go anywhere. The giveaway wasn't rigged, by the way. We will be right back. Don't